We are going to be making this double knit reversible oversized hat. I made it pretty large so that you have a brim that you can fold up if you would like, if you need that extra warmth for your ears. Now we'll talk about yarn we're using. The Craft Smart Value yarn. I got it in gray, and I will do an overlay with the name of this one. But as you can see, there's enough here to do a hat and a matching cowl. But right now, we're going to be working on the hat. Other items you're going to need for this project is we are using our KB double knit rotating loom. I have the original topper on it. For an even larger hat, you can use the 60 peg topper. You want a piece of scrap yarn that is a contrasting color than what you're using. That will be used later to finish up this edge really nice. A crochet hook, your loom tool, a pair of scissors. This is the first thing I found, so it's got a little knife right there. Let's get started with our cast on. We are going to do our first round of the cast on in the gray. I'm going to go ahead and take and make a slip knot, put it on the peg, just hold that in place for now. We're just going to wrap stockinette stitch, which is, zoom this in a little bit for you. Stockinette, it's just like this. Now we're going to add our placeholder yarn. So push everything down on the loom. This placeholder strand goes above, I need to get that out of the way, above all the stitches on the loom. Right there. And I'm going to tie a little tiny knot and then use my crochet hook, grab both strands and pull them down. All this is doing is holding out that first row so that we can finish that off later. I accidentally wrapped it over my working yarn, so in case that happens and you don't want to undo it, there you go. Just pull it back through and then tighten that back up. Now we are adding our second collar. I'm going to do the slip knot on this front side. Because the front side here, you're going to use this collar for the entire hat, and the inside you're going to be using the gray. This is the outside loom, this is the inside loom. So we're going to twist that twice because we want to keep this collar out front. To keep your yarn from tangling up really bad, what I like to do is, I'll show you, I'm wrapping it one direction and then I'm going to wrap it in the opposite direction. This does not affect the appearance of your work, and it keeps your yarn untangled throughout the whole process, and it really saves a lot of time and frustration. So here we go. Now you're going to do this all the way around, and then you will knit over your bottom loops over your top loops, inside and outside loom. You're just going to repeat this exact same method until your project is, once it hits about this length, it'll start folding up. You want it to go kind of like in a U, all the way back up to the top. Then you're going to be ready to cast off. It's time to decrease and get this thing off the loom. As you can see, I worked it to where it was double the length of the bars here. That'll give me a big enough hat where I can fold the brim up a little bit. But I need to pull these up a bit. What we're going to do is you're going to take every other peg on the front loom and the back loom, and you're going to move that stitch over. On the inside, you want to move the same ones over. Now let's go ahead and knit over all of those. To the beginning. As you can see, I only worked the pegs that already had stitches on them. So now we can knit over all of those. We're going to do another decrease. This time we are going to move all the stitches on this back loom to the front loom and knit over. a stitch back here, move it forward, knit over. You can work all the way around the loom and then come back and knit over, or you can do it like I am and knit over at the same time. Cut that secondary yarn right here. I'm going to throw that on the inside here. What I'm going to do is just U-wrap one row around. You want your tension to be very loose. We're trying to take as much bulk out of the top of this hat as we can. Wrap the working yarn 2.5 times, 2.5 around the loom. There's 1, 2.5. And cut. Let's bind this thing off. We are doing a flat top bind off. So you will be pulling your working yarn through every other stitch that is still left on the loom. This is going to be a pull string cast off. It's just the way that it is done is taking out a good bit of that bulk. We're back at the beginning. I'm going to go ahead and do this one. Now this second time around, you can go ahead and start popping these stitches off as you go. That was from that first round. It's already hooked. You see the line there. Back at the beginning, we can see this one has already been worked. If you've been popping the stitches off as you go, then you can go ahead and pull this out. If not, go ahead and pop off those stitches and then pull it out. This is a good length for a neck warmer as well. Let's go ahead and tighten this top. It is a flat top pull string cast off, so there's actually going to be 2 rounds that we got to worry about tightening up here. So we've got that inner round that we did, and then that second round we did. I'm put my finger in here and pull, but you don't pull super tight. You're just trying to tighten up the inner circle and that outer circle. You can see, like, it's tightening up a lot. Okay, that's really tight on my finger at this point. Let's see, there's the outer circle, and if we flip it inside out, you'll see the secondary inner circle. Now, if you are concerned about the yarn you're using and it's something you think will break easily, then you can switch to a different yarn for your cast off. You don't want to put all this work in just for it to have your yarn to break. But when I get this tight, I pull my crochet hook up through the middle of that and pull it through. And of course that strand was very long. There we go. So I went with the gray to cast it off, seeing as how that way if it's inside out or whatever, it's going to match. You can see just one circle here where I did one of the decreases. And as you can see, I'm taking and I'm making sure this is tight in every possible direction. And now this will get tightened up as well. But we want this to be knotted. I'm just picking up a random stitch, pulling this through, but I'm leaving a loop, and then I'm pulling that working yarn through the loop. And that right there is going to make a knot, and see how close it is to this strand. You can weave it in with a crochet hook or a tapestry needle if you would like. But I like to secure it with a knot. I don't want it to come apart. As long as I can do a knot that's not a knot that you don't feel, that feels flat. And then even after that, I will still take this, I will run through on the inside, on the other side I mean. I'll still take my yarn and run it through a few stitches even after I knot it, just to make sure it stays where I want it to stay. You don't have to do a whole lot. And then use scissors. This is just something really cute I got in some subscription box, and I'm finding myself using it way more than I ever thought I would. So we got the cap cast off, bound off, cast off, taken off the loom. Now we are going to finish up this cast on edge so you have a very nice crochet looking edge. So we are going to start the opposite of these cast on strands. So we are going to start right behind them and work round. It's time to finish off our cast on edge. Here is our placeholder string, and here are the two strands that I initially cast on with. You want to start right behind those two strands because you're going to be working all the way around, and use these to pull through that last little hoop. Let me zoom this in some. Alright, so we are picking up the stitches on top of this blue strand. And you want to use a crochet hook to do this, which I just dropped mine. But there it is! So here's where those are. This would be the first loop past that. And some of this may be a little difficult because I didn't use the best yarn. This is like an alpaca blend, and it's going to want to fuzz together with my yarn some. I already know this and I didn't think about it. But we got the first two loops on top of that blue strand. We're going to pull that second one through the first. Find that next loop. And pull it through the first. Now you gotta watch, because some of these are going to be twisted over and there might be two. Okay, not that one. Second one, pull through first. I have Raynaud, so my hands are kind of numb while I'm doing this, or else it wouldn't look quite as awkward. Back at the beginning, I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. As you can see, it did stick some in a couple spots, but I got it. Use something that's all acrylic, that's not going to stick. Alright, so here are the two strands. I'm going to take those and pull them through. Now that's kind of locked in place. I'm going to take this one. I will weave up this side since it is the same color. Which there are so many ways you can do this. So not one way is really superior. It's really, it's preference. Alright, see, I've got a little bit of a dent here. See how it's wanting to roll that way? I'm going to pull it under. There, it's officially on this side. See, that's anchored in. And just to be sure, I am going to go ahead and do a little bit of a knot on one. It's just a chain one if you crochet. And I'm going to pull that through. This side I'm going to work Remember, knotting it is not absolutely necessary. That comes down to preference. Got my weird elephant thing. Boom, cut the yarn. Did I cut this yarn yet? Nope. Cut it. Oh, I love it. Of course, I gotta weave those in a little better. Let's flip it out. I like this side a lot better. And you got the hat. The brim pulls up however far you need it, and it's the gray. Whereas if you wear it inside out, you can do it like this. And that's what that edge that we crocheted looks like. It looks so nice, and it's got a good bit of stretch to it. Alright guys, this is what I got for you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and with any luck, maybe I was able to teach you a thing or two. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow, turn on the notifications so when I have new videos come out, you will be emailed and notified. I typically have a video come out every Friday if I'm able to. Thank you guys.